course. Let's do this. Number up. In lane 8 from BC. Zachary Zaro. Number 8 in lane B. From BC also Liam Klepke.
We'll catch you up as we go along. There are only 3 athletes. The placings have been decided based on their qualification times, but they're going to run races as a semifinal and a big final to be included in the event for the people here, essentially, to keep the show going.
Mais c'est aussi pour un procès de développement pour les athlètes parce que, justement, Pete vient de dire qu'il y en a juste 3 filles dans la catégorie junior et pour suivre les règles, ça veut dire qu'il n'y aura pas des courses. Ça veut dire que les podiums étaient terminés par leur temps qu'ils ont eu en qualification. So, nous, on sait déjà c'est qui a gagné en théorie la compétition, mais pas en théorie qui a gagné. Mais on va avoir, et il faut quand même des athlètes qui pratiquent leur course contre les autres compétiteurs.
Yeah, it's important to get repetitions in with someone beside you, feeling like you're racing for a win. We also had a smaller number of men, so while we started with a round of 16, we're starting with a round of 8. So we're starting with a quarterfinal on the men's side. We'll do quarterfinal on the men, and then we're going to do a semifinal for the women, semifinal for the men, and then we'll run the women's final. The winner of the 2-3 will go against the fastest time from qualifying. So that's what it's going to look like. A little bit abnormal, but youth doesn't have the depth of category, the number of participants, so we adapt, and there are rules in place for what the brackets are supposed to look like, and we're online for all of that. And we have a couple of very, very fast junior men. And as you said, we've already broken that age category's Canadian record twice in qualifying.
Right.
Let's see what goes down. We don't necessarily see records get broken in the head-to-head because you have to beat the person beside you. It's not about your time per se, but if you're able to run fast, you run fast.
Yeah, I mean, really, these athletes are also, yes, they want to win, and if you notice that your opponent has a slip, then maybe you dial it back just enough to make sure you don't make any mistakes. However, they also want to break records. That's that's exciting. That's good practice, and you don't want to. No one wants to stop trying.
Exactly. It's that. It's the process. It's the way that you go through. If you're putting yourself in competition space every time, as we see the junior men's finalists.
Moi, je vois juste 6.
I was going to say, there may be someone hiding behind a poster
Ouais.
somewhere. Yeah.
Maybe there's just 6 chairs, mais on devrait avoir 8. Là.
Yeah.
C'est pour les juniors A, la catégorie A qu'on a eu ce matin, il y avait 16. On a eu assez, mais là, c'est vrai, on va commencer avec juste 8. The quarterfinal.
And the juniors, 18 and 19 years old, is the junior category. So we're going to get started with Adrien Levesque and Aiden Thomas.
Yeah, these guys can compete in open as well. So we'll see some of them again tomorrow.
And lane A, the fastest qualifying time. Adrien, a little pause to make sure no false start. And he's been putting down blistering fast times all day. He's going to keep that up. Adrien Levesque, 6.9.
So c'est lui justement qui a brisé le record pour la catégorie junior avec un temps de 6.492. Il doit être super content avec ça. Et justement, comme Pete a dit tantôt, c'est pas grave, là, son temps vraiment, il fallait juste qu'il batte son compétiteur ici. And that's what he just did. So, Adrien Levesque va avancer au demi-finale.
And we have Liam Kletke is going to be on your left in lane A, and Logan Geisler will be on the right in lane B.
Again, these are all determined by their times from qualifiers, and so lane A is always going to be set up with the faster climber from qualification. But we've seen lots of upsets.
Yep, we've seen a few B paths to the final. Liam, Logan. Liam ahead here, and then a bit of a pickup from Geisler. It's going to be, no, he doesn't quite catch. You see him falling away from the wall a little bit there near the top. Liam Kletke is going to get it done.
5 degrés, ça sonne pas beaucoup, mais quand même, quand tu vas vite, ça peut te pousser en arrière juste assez.
See here, just for a minute, it was close. Liam slowed down, and then that
slip. That's
what
what happened. His hand slipped first, and so he didn't generate enough power to get to that the black hold. These black holds are actually the same as all the other holds on the route. As you'll see, they're all the same holds, but they are rotated in various orientations. But the black ones have sensors, we were told today, that can give us some data about how fast people are going when they go through that section, how much force they're putting on to move off of them. I think we're trying to learn a bit more about how climbing these races.
Going to go and have a look at that a little bit. Braden Bossert now and Nathan Richardson. The difference in their starting positions. Nathan Richardson a little bit slower out of the gate. Braden Bossert staying ahead.
Braden
clean through. Yes. So
no mistakes
excellent race there.
Yeah.
From Braden Bossert.
Braden's pretty consistent. I've seen him put down some really low times over today and then in other competitions.
You see just a bit of a slip there from Nathan, and Braden had it in hand, I think, the whole way through.
Braden is our junior national champion from last year, so I was expecting him to move to the next round.
And very tall Jack Whitney.
Yeah. Which Pete and I were just discussing is not necessarily making it easier or harder. It's
just different.
Different, yeah.
Zachary Zhao in lane B.
Oh,
a false start from Zachary. That is unfortunate. A false start means that you are out. There are no second chances in speed climbing. Unfortunately, Zachary Zhao, maybe even just a fraction of a second. The margin of error is 1/10 of a second. So if you've left the mat within 1/10 of a second from when the system says go, it deems that you have put on a false start, and unfortunately you are disqualified. It is a one and done system.
I mean, it's not. It's obviously super disappointing for the athlete, but it's also disappointing for the spectators as well. It's like we want to see them put it all down and see what happens. You know, it's always kind of a bit of a letdown when you hear that noise.
There's been talk and rumor in and around speed climbing of how you could evolve it to be a different sort of style of competition, and one is to have 4 routes. So instead of just sort of individual knockout, you have 4 competitors racing each other at a time.
Interesting.
And then a false start would just pull that climber off and they would go again. So lots of sort of, there's talk around, there's lots of things that bubble. The speed route's been the same for a long time. It was not, it wasn't optimized for speed. And you'll notice the better climbers have basically broken the route to be as much of a vertical line as possible instead of the S curves you see when you look at it
Il y a des
from a
prises qui
distance.
sont même pas utilisées en fait. You know, vous allez voir, si vous faites attention, vous allez voir, il y en a comme 2 prises complètement pas utilisées.
And that's when you're trying to go fast, you adapt, and we have been adapting for a long time.
But with the idea of 4 racers, would it be a race with, or not time related?
Yeah,
a race.
A race. Yeah.
Right. So kind of like imitating a race on a track.
And this is now we're doing a presentation of the semifinalists, and then Tegan Chow is going to head back and await the final, and Sofiane and Esme will race each other.
So Tegan had the best time in the qualifying round. She also broke a record for the junior female category, which was previously held by Riley Galloway, who's not here today. So we have a record now. 10.71 is the junior female speed record that Tegan just set. And so with that time, she will take the gold medal today. She will be your junior female champion. And Sofiane came second and Esme came third. And so we're going to have a race between Sofiane and Esme now to give the competitors a chance to race and to also put on a show for the rest of us.
Yeah. So a quick presentation of the athletes. We're just sort of catching up to what's happening. I think there was a little bit of confusion there. You could see people staring at each other like, what are we doing?
What's happening?
And we can hear out of the corner of our eye whether or not the host of the event here in the room is what he's talking about. So there was definitely a little confusion. Now we've introduced them to the crowd. All right.
All right, here we go.
I believe I heard him say, whenever you're ready. And they look ready.
Donc on a Sofiane dans la voie à gauche, le A, et Esme à droite.
Something we brought up on the earlier broadcast. You see the difference between Sofiane, who puts the rope behind her shoulder, and Esme, who keeps the rope in front. And it is personal preference all over the place. You see different starting positions. You see them even different hand positions here. Sofiane and Esme for a chance to race Tegan for the final. Oh, no.
Oh, she's like, I'm going anyway.
Yeah, I like it. Hey, I like it. Why not? Sofiane and Esme are going to go up this route regardless of that false start. with authority.
Esme is like, looks like she's walking.
Yeah, she's just getting up to see, just to get to the top. Unfortunately, a false start there. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, she looked confused as though she didn't believe that she had false started, of course.
I
so
know. I wondered about that too. I was like, does she not think that she did?
Perhaps not. And
that'll always be, I suppose, something that you. I guess there are appeals. You can appeal if you think. I don't know how they would go. Maybe video replay. We can do that.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen it in events that I've been a part of. I haven't seen anyone, but I do. I mean, the opportunity is definitely there to appeal things that happen.
Right.
And I know there's also been some talk about saying, well, how do you know that we can't react inside of a tenth of a second?
Right.
Like maybe that needs to be fine-tuned a little bit.
Right.
You know. So why are you allowed to be starting? Because they start their start motion as we sort of watch the women decide to finish this run out. They rock in to their sort of the step foot.
Right.
And while you're rocking, if you sort of release pressure but your foot's still on the pad, and as you're coming back across, are you leaving heel to toe, like when does the pad register? So there's been definitely, it comes up is it, of course it's fair because it's the same for everyone.
Sure.
But does it need to be adapted to the, sort of where we are with human capability?
Right.
I don't know what the false start is for sprinting, but I feel like it has to be shorter than 1/10 of a second.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see moving forward.
So these are men's semifinalists: Adrien Levesque, Liam Kletke, Braden Bossert, and Jack Whitney.
A lot of BC representing.
Yeah.
They do have a pretty amazing wall. I think there are two actually in BC, one in Victoria and one at the Richmond Oval.
Yeah.
That one of only 5 official walls that are the 15 meters that you can train on in Canada. So that makes it a little trickier to attract more athletes into the sport. We have tons of climbing gyms in Canada, and that's why it's part of the reason why we have so many athletes in bouldering and lead. But with speed, not as many places to train, not as many places to even be exposed to it.
You need to have that in your, I mean, it doesn't even just have to be in your city. It has to be close enough that you're able to go train on a regular basis.
Yeah.
So speed walls are becoming more popular, but they're, it's a lot to invest.
Yeah.
And you got to go in and get it right. So it's
and it's still
it's still growing. It's
sure.
still growing.
It's not growing as fast as bouldering. I think of the 3 disciplines, bouldering is growing the fastest, but that doesn't mean it won't continue.
All right. In the first semifinal, the winner goes on to the gold-silver run, the big final. The loser of these races, they race for the bronze, so that they'll go into the small final. So this is when when you go to gold, you don't win this race, you go on to the small final with a chance to win the bronze medal. Adrien Levesque and Liam Kletke.
Adrien with the fastest time so far today.
Making sure no false starts there. Liam looking good, and Adrien just
not good enough.
So consistent through the whole run. You saw Liam with a slight stumble.
6.66, man. He's just repeatedly putting up middle of the 6s, which is really excellent time, not only for the category.
You see, I mean, they both had good starts. And right here, I thought it was going to get close, and then Liam, with that hesitation, was not able to make that ground up.
Officially, the Canadian Youth A category, we have Dylan Lee that put up 6.22. That was at the Youth World Championships in Dallas last summer, which is an exceptional time, and that is on record so far the fastest in all the categories.
Yeah, he's very, very fast.
Yeah.
All right, our second semifinal, Braden and Jack. No, see, no one left there.
Yeah, that's a problem.
That's a problem. And that brings into question
the previous
one that we saw.
Yeah, I know. Well, this is what I was saying in Youth A category that happened last year at Nationals. There was a temperamental start pad.
So they both immediately knew that they had left because the lights were green.
This is an organizer's nightmare. I mean, certainly not fun.
Not a good time.
Not a good time
to have to deal with because, I mean, the flow of the event, of course, and you want to try and make it as smooth as possible. Technology is no one's fault, but you want to try and have it go as smooth as possible.
It's also not like we have that many experts in this technology just floating around to fix these things. So, but this is what I'm saying about it interrupting the flow for the athletes too. It's just part. Obviously, these things happen. Technicals happen all the time in sports, and you need to be able to keep your cool and stay focused. But it's as you see, he's like, "What am I supposed to do with this?"
Yeah.
What?
So, yeah.
Oh
I mean, I'm not good at lip reading. And he was pointing up. The clock didn't register false start. It just had the beeps. So, No one's getting unclipped, which tells me they're going to run
They're just
this
going to
race
try it again.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so destabilizing.
And no one's, I mean, the body language tells me they're not sure what's going on, but they're not happy about it. And then I see a coach in the frame, and it's guesswork for us, of course. And that says to me that we have to listen to the technology.
You're kidding, right?
Yeah.
No. They're going to appeal that. His foot didn't come off the ground.
Yeah.
Right?
That's what I remember. Doesn't matter. Yeah. He's telling his coach, you know what? It's fine.
What?
He doesn't want to get into the debate of it all. And we forget sometimes these aren't adult. Like, these are youth athletes.
Yeah, sure.
They're juniors. They're 18, 19 years old, but they're not. They're here trying to.
I mean, that's an adult. The juniors. But
they're here to compete, and their drive is to compete. Right, you don't want to look like you're causing trouble, but at the same time, you kind of want to fight for your ability to race.
Yourself, of course.
Yeah.
Plus, you don't want to feel like you're getting,
yeah,
disadvantaged for no reason.
Yeah.
Well, for technological reason.
And then
I do feel like we need to review the film, Pete.
Yeah, let's have a look here. We won't quite see the
sound, but
the light.
Oh,
so look at the light on the right. Well, we can see the light on the right side.
Yeah. He never left the ground.
So is it, and I don't think that Jack was the false start.
Okay, we have
someone has to look at that.
Yeah, we're recruiting more
officials.
Officials,
so
indeed.
Kat Belanger on the left, Christian Marceau, and then that's actually, I mean, he must be just consulting, but that's
who?
Good grief, I've just lost his name. I had it as I started that sentence. Libor.
Okay.
He's a Canadian speed climbing legend, held the world record for a little while, and now coaches speed climbing out of BC.
Oh,
so
out of
Libor's
Victoria?
consulting, yeah.
Okay.
So he's here to sort of, they're doing a camp tomorrow. I'm sure he's here for that.
Right.
And they're sort of asking what would Libor do? This happened at the Pan Am Games. We had a couple of weird false starts, and everyone was reading the rule book, and somebody said, "Is Libor here?" And he came up to the front, and it sort of became a bit of a, what would Libor do? He knows. He's been, he was an active, very good speed climber for a very long time. You see Kat there, sort of very sorry.
But I feel like if you look at the video, it's sort of clear that it could not possibly be a false start.
Yeah. Well, maybe it was Jack's false start, and he doesn't, he's also surprised by that, and he wants to run the race. So we'll see who ends up in which final.
What?
So one of these guys will be in the small final. One of them will be in the big final. Right now, we don't know because we don't actually know the situation. And we'll catch you up.
Oui, désolé tout le monde. Nous, on est aussi confus que vous autres parce que c'était clair qu'il n'est pas parti du tapis. Donc, c'est vraiment... S'il y a quelqu'un qui a eu une false start, ça va être Jack à droite, right?
Yeah.
Donc...
but it's Braden that looks the more upset about it.
Yeah, so we're quite confused. Et c'était dur en plus parce qu'on voyait pas la lumière de savoir, parce que la lumière de Jack était vert, mais ça se peut pas que c'est...
Yeah, they go at the same time. The lights change color at the same time, right? But his didn't go red, which shows a false start.
Right.
So Jack's doesn't show a false start.
That's why I'm confused, because there's no way that you can give Braden a false start by looking at that video.
Mm-hmm. Unless it's... And we know, I don't want to stir up the controversy, Bonnie, but that's the pad they replaced.
Right.
So they swapped it out,
right,
and then they fixed it. I saw someone fixing it, and then they put it back. So maybe it's, just beep, beep, and then that's go right there. And it's registering the false start.
OK, mais moi, j'ai confiance. J'ai confiance. Là. Éventuellement, quelqu'un va voir ça, ils vont régler ça. Là, ça, je peux pas, right? So, ça fait partie de la compétition, des fois, I guess. Il y a des... surtout quand tu as de la technologie.
And maybe you can't appeal. Right?
I have no idea.
Maybe you can't appeal.
I mean, that would be crazy. In this sport, we always have appeals.
If you know the official, Ethan, if you're watching this broadcast from your hotel room, if you know the official rule for can you appeal a false start, text me. Let me know. So at the moment,
Nous on écrit tous nos contacts.
Yeah, yeah.
Là, on essaie d'avoir un peu plus d'informations pour vous partager, là, mais pour l'instant, on est aussi confus, on attend et on va juste attendre des experts là, dans le fond, dans
just
ça.
hang out with us while we work it through. And I theoretically will do the women's final. In the meantime, they haven't brought them out, but that's what I would expect us to be doing next. To see Braden still in discussion with, teammates, various standers by, and then the table of judges. It doesn't look like there's a lot going on. It doesn't look like anybody's pulling up video. Debate discussion. Now, the only thing is, I'm just getting a note here from someone. The only thing we can think of is that his weight shifted too much in his wind-up to leave. That is something they do. We talked about it earlier.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're saying that there's no appeal because they tested it. It's in working order, and he must have shifted his weight.
Yeah. So he either, heel comes up too quickly or whatever, the unweight protocol is for that tension pad. That is unfortunate for Braden. I mean, I get that you tested it, but
I'm not feeling it
I'm
personally.
Not, could it be intermittently failing? Of course it could be intermittently failing. And it worked. Everyone who's ever had anything break at home and showed their spouse or partner, be like, hey, this is broken. And they turn it on, they're like, no, it's not. And you're like, it wasn't working for me 30 seconds ago.
Right.
That's a thing that happens, right? We all know that that's part of technology, is that sometimes things go on the fritz. But there is no chance. I mean, all we're doing is sort of pontificating from up here on what we think may be happening, how we feel emotionally about the situation, and the rules have to be emotionally detached, unfortunately.
Right.
And although it sucks, we have to believe that the chief and the judges think it's working, and it registered a false start, and therefore it's a false start.
Well, okay. I don't know. Yep. I guess this is something that doesn't happen very often, so we are still sort of trying to understand it a little bit more. I'm just getting feedback from some people on the ground saying that it's, because it's been tested and it's working, the slightest lift can cause a false start. He must have shifted his balance and it lifted just a bit too much weight off. And even though you don't see much movement, the pads are more they notice more than the naked eye.
Yeah, you don't have to see air between your foot and the pad for you to be leaving the pad. That I appreciate that's the situation, but he was like, he hadn't even started moving.
It didn't. Well, no.
Look like he even started. I mean, it was like his hips had shifted.
Yeah.
His hips had shifted.
I guess. I guess it's that's one of those things that is sort of, beyond real. It's hard for us to comprehend because of what we see versus what the mechanism registers is so crazy. Oh, look at that.
Oh, I love it.
Thanks for this close-up of this.
Super close-up. This is like, in the Super Bowl, right? Was he in or out? Did you get the shot off at the buzzer or not? So I love a little close-up of the pad in question.
Yeah, I mean, that's sad regardless of, it's, if this is all the case and this is like completely legit, which I suppose at some point we have to accept, that just sucks. That's, Braden is definitely was in the running for big final.
So we're going to run the small final for the men with a disappointed Braden Bossert and a patiently waiting Liam Kletke. So Liam will be in lane A on the left side, and Braden will be on the right. I would love to see Braden just put one down.
Yes.
Just to show that he's capable. I would love to see that.
Well, we know he's capable. He's put down some. He also broke his own record, even though. Sorry, I'm just going to stop and watch now.
A long pause from Braden to make sure. A slip from Liam. Braden Bossert asserting that he is very capable of running this. 7.1. That is going to be a bronze medal, which is a small consolation for Braden. Liam Kletke, a slip in the middle. Who knows if the extra, 7 or 8 minutes were a detraction, but you see there, he definitely waited to make sure. And then Liam, that is one of the hardest sections of the route, is the Tomoa skip, and he just didn't quite have it locked in, and it puts you so far behind. Almost no one comes back from missing the Tomoa. And then unfortunately you see Braden just not feeling that he got a fair shake. And we are not here to judge, unfortunately. We are just here
to commentate
and read the facts. I can tell you I would be different if I was a coach. I would be different if I was an athlete. But we're going to call it unfortunate and move on. All right, so
it's funny that you call it the Tomoa skip, because Tomoa isn't technically even a specialist in speed climbing, but he did establish this beta of skipping that fourth handhold there and doing a hand-foot match on the third and jumping straight up to what you folks at home will see as the black hold. It's not black everywhere.
No,
that's different.
It's mostly red.
It's usually red, but just because these ones have been swapped out, they're black for you. OK, Tegan Chow à gauche et Sofiane Bertrand à droite.
C'est Esme à droite.
Just kidding, it's Esme.
All right, Tegan Chow. Oh, a slip there. And then she's going to go back to the original method. Esme. Oh, and another. Tegan, who normally runs so effectively, is now just, you can't regain momentum in the middle of the route. But Tegan Chow
she still
managed to do it.
That's right, Esme.
Just working hard. And Tegan Chow with a few slips, but she did manage to pull it back up. Miss on the foothold there.
It was kind of really a testament to her mindset to be able to just stay in it with all those little upsets.
Yeah, her beta through the top third is excellent, but just when you run out of that momentum, we talked about it during the Youth A, the ability to maintain that pace gets harder and harder if you make a few slips.
Et je dois avouer que l'effet que ça donnait pas vraiment un résultat, là, c'était pas vraiment pour une médaille, ça doit faire quelque chose dans ta tête.
Yes. All right, for the gold and silver in the big final, Adrian Levesque and Jack Whitney.
And Adrian here, he's been our record setter today. And Jack Whitney,
Jack's up against it.
Strong competitor. Let's see what we got.
A pretty good start from both. Jack really explosive there. This is neck and neck.
Come on.
Adrian on the left, Jack on the right. Oh, boy, I thought that was going to be too close to call. And just Adrian so effective on the last two moves.
Yeah, it's incredible.
6.61 and 7.09, two excellent times. And that was shoulder to shoulder until the last single move. Just watch Adrian on the left.
Like hands. They're like almost in sync.
And it's right here.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to look down, and he's just quicker getting the smear in the left foot up. And Jack Whitney, an excellent race, and just lost to the best climber on the day.
7 is really fast for Jack. That I'd be curious to know if that was personal best, because that's pretty low.
Okay, so that is going to be our junior speed national championship final round.
Voila.
We will recap, so you can stay and watch the podium. We're going to have it. We'll leave it on air. We'll recap first, second, and third for you. So on the men's side, it's Adrian Levesque is going to be your gold medalist. Jack Whitney is going to be your silver medalist. And Braden Bossert, disappointed, but still going home with a national medal, third place.
You got it. And as determined by their qualification times for the women in des juniors, on a Tegan Chow en premier Sofiane Bertrand en deuxième, et Esme Smolnik en troisième.
Okay, and up last on the day is Youth B. So the 14, 15-year-olds are going to go last. That broadcast is scheduled to start in and around 2:45. It says 3:45 here, but I feel that that's too much of a gap between what we see on the schedule. So don't quote me on that, because they start their qualification at 2, and I don't think the final is going to be at 3:45.
Right. There's not enough
I
time
don't think
for
there's
that.
enough time in there. We're running on the best information available.
Although there are a lot of them. Well,
okay.
I mean, there's 17
Yeah.
and 16.
Okay. So the schedule right now says 3:45. Follow along social media, definitely. If you want to come back and watch that Youth B
it could be
final,
earlier.
it could be earlier.
Yeah.
So make sure you check out either the CEC's page or Horizon Rock, I think, is sharing the event page as well. But we're going to step away and let you go off to the podiums. Pete Woods, Bonnie, thank you very much for another really exciting round of speed climbing.
Yeah, and a little controversial even, maybe.
Definitely a little controversy. All right, enjoy a little bit of your afternoon. Come back and hang out with us in a little while. We'll get on to the Youth B. And then tomorrow is the Open Speed Finals, and that is going to be really fast times.
Yeah, it'll be
guaranteed.
Exciting. Awesome. Thanks, Pete.
Juste avant, les cérémonies protocolaires avaient invité bien spécial avec nous, M. Boulard, 120 km de l'avancement merci, M. Jean Desjardins, qui aurait 12 universités. M. Desjardins.
Bonjour tout le monde. Merci infiniment de donner cette compétition-là ici sur le territoire. The warm welcome to all our friends from all around the country. It's beautiful to see you gathered today, this weekend. Donc, c'est fabuleux de vous voir en fin de semaine. Merci à tous. Merci à vous envoyer. Merci à Mme Stiago. Tout le monde qui est arrivé pour la compétition d'Escalade Canada. On est très fiers de vous accueillir. Bonne compétition, bonne fin de semaine à tous. Merci.
Merci beaucoup, M. Desjardins. Alors, avant la prise de téléphone, il y a également remis le certificat officiel. On va commencer avec les dames. Son Podium. On demande aux médaillistes plutôt. All finalists to please come forward. Alors, avant la mise des médailles, on va remettre ce certificat officiel pour les nouveaux records canadiens. Pour le côté masculin, ça va être effectué la prise de retour de cette compétition. Pour les féminins aussi. Alors, la nouvelle détentrice du record canadien en division féminine junior, avec le temps de 10.71. Podium job. Et du côté masculin, le nouveau détenteur du record canadien junior avec un temps de 6,49 complété en groupe de qualification. Allez, là! So now we will invite the participants in the women's division to please come forward behind the podium in order to receive your medal. En troisième position, représentant du Québec, Escalade. En deuxième position aussi, représentante du Québec, Bertrand. And in first position, the new national record holder, Miss Podium. Congratulations. We will now invite the three finalists to come forward behind the podium. En troisième place, in third place, représentant la Colombie, from BC, Podium. Allez-y, classe in second place, represented from British Columbia, de la Colombie, Jack Whitman. Le nouveau champion national est porteur aussi du nouveau record canadien avec un temps de 6,49 du Québec, Adrien Levert. Une bonne applaudissement pour le grand champion. Congratulations for our champion. Congratulations also to all participants in the men's division. Alors, ça conclut la division junior de ce championnat national. On va enchaîner dans quelques instants avec la division juvénile B. So that concludes our women's division competition. We will follow up very shortly with